Welcome in. Oh, it's our last day of the challenge. Come on in, get comfortable because today is going to be a day for you. I'm going to get into all the last things that we need to cover so that you can build your portfolio, find mentorship, and some experience. All right, here's my page. Okay. Beautiful. Now we're on Facebook and we are going to go ahead and get started. So let me go ahead and do this. And of course, where are we again? We are on AHA slides. So let me show you where that is. Okay. Here we go. Let me do this so that it's full screen. There we go. All right. So did you finish your homework? You know, I want to know. You can join me on ahaslides.com/idle5 because today is the 5th and final day of the challenge. So I hope you guys all have learned a lot so far. Definitely, if you have any questions about anything that we've covered in this challenge, feel free to drop those questions in the chat or in the comments or right here on AHA Slides, and I will make sure to get them answered for you today. All right, so if you remember, your homework was to create just one asset or just started, or even if you got a script done, that would be a huge accomplishment for yesterday's homework. So what do we got here? Somewhat, and yes, well, that is a really good percentage that most of you did something to push yourself forward, and just 8% maybe is behind and they're catching up to yesterday's homework. So great job. I'm so happy that every single one of you has continued to show up daily and you're here for the 5th and final day of our challenge. Okay, so here's our questions. So today we're going to talk about deliberate practice of instructional design, what that looks like, how this learning strategy, and for me, it's an overall mantra really, as what deliberate practice has become for me, because the power of deliberate practice, where you practice something, get feedback from someone who is more experienced than you and can coach you, and then implementing that feedback really accelerates in pretty outstanding ways. So that's what we're going to get into today. And all those next steps, I'm going to try and cover all the next steps. So some of it I'll have to go high level, but I'm going to try and dig into as much as I can cover in an hour. And of course, if you stick with me to the end, I will be talking about the Idle Courses Academy, giving more information, and I have an early enrollment bonus for challenge members. And so if you've enrolled already in the Idle Courses Academy, this business box was already in the back end, but this special bonus goes away on Sunday. All right, so you all are in the right place. If going through this challenge has actually sparked your passion and your why for becoming an idle. You're in the right place if you are ready to take the next steps to accelerate your progress to becoming an idle. So we're going to talk about building your portfolio. So the actual tips on building your online portfolio from scratch, the updates that you need to make to your resume and LinkedIn. I'm going to give you some high level information on that. And then how to find a mentor and get experience in instructional design. We're going to wrap up the whole package. And so I just want to take a little time to share a little bit more about my story. And so this is my story in numbers. I just love what data can tell us about anything, but specifically, this is data about my story. And so in 2012, I was the assistant dean of students at Shorter University, and I made $35,000 a year. Now, the only way that I was going to move up in that career, become dean of students or whatever, was basically if somebody died, or if I took on other adjunct faculty jobs. And so I would have to work from 9 in the morning till 10 at night to take another adjunct role to get me up to another 10 grand in a year. And so in 2012, I made 45K working 9 to 10, Monday through Thursday. And so that's also when I found corporate instructional design. I did everything I could to make that transition. And that's when I first landed my first corporate instructional design role in 2012. I went from 35 to 65K, and it changed my life. I mean, it really just changed my mindset, what I thought was possible, what I thought I would be for my children, the fact that I could, have a job where I could actually work from home. I didn't have to work extra hours outside of my full-time job, and I was making more money. And then, of course, the best part of all is I found like my passion, what I love. And so it was only just 2 years later that I left that first corporate instructional design role it was called Silver Pop. It's now, and then it moved to an IBM company, and now it's called Acoustic. So the next job I got was at C Beyond, which then was acquired by Birch Communications. And I went from 65 to 75K in just 2 years. And that same year of 2014, like I said, they got acquired by another company. And so they were laying everybody off. I was the last person left on that team. I was the last person in that they kept for the training company. And I got a LinkedIn message from somebody, and they said, "Hey, would you like to start and develop and run a learning and development department at our company?" I said, "Sure." And that's when I reached 6 figures for the first time. So as you can see, that just right after I landed my first corporate instructional design job, I doubled my salary, and then I hit 6 figures within 2 years as a director of learning, and development. And then I started my own business, Idle Courses, serving clients in 2018. And that's when I reached the 200K mark. And what I want this story to show you is that now I get to build my own courses. I get to say no to the projects that drain me and yes to the projects that light me up. You'll remember in day 1 of the challenge, I told you there are so many ways that you can niche, so many ways that you can go in this field. I mean, not to mention there's corporate, there's education, there's higher education, there's government, there's nonprofit. And as you guys know, there's also digital courses that you can build in this new environment that we have. And so there really is a lot to love about being an instructional designer. So I just want you guys to take a moment to imagine what it'll feel like when you land your first corporate job and then only say yes to the companies and projects that truly light you up. Just taking a moment to imagine this really will help you drive those things that you need to do, the actions that you need to take to become an idol. So I can tell you all the things that you need to do to prepare and land your idol job, but no matter what, the most important component to making the transition is deliberate practice. And you can't do deliberate practice unless you take action. And so just to illustrate a little bit of what deliberate practice looks like, I just want to show you a couple of examples. And these are just job aids that have been improved through the process of deliberate practice. And they come out of the Idle Courses Academy. So the first one is, this is a before, right? And so one of our members, this is her first version of the job aid, heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. And you're probably looking at this job aid and thinking like, yeah, there could be some improvements that are made to this, but that's the first step, right? It's just to take the action and get it done and get feedback. Well, after this student got feedback from her peers and our coaches and our mentors, she was able to up level her job aid, and this is what it looks like now. So as you can see, there's a lot of improvement just from having a draft, getting feedback, and then here's the final thing, right? And so this is what deliberate practice does for you, right? And you could even take this through another round, right? You can take it through the round of like, well, what else could we improve for this version? But what you can see though is just what it takes, what deliberate practice does from first versions to second versions. And that's what I mean by accelerating your skills. Deliberate practice is key. Here's another one, right? It doesn't look too bad, right? But what you might notice when you first look at something like this is that you don't have a place for your eyes to rest. You're not sure what to look at first. You're not sure which is most important, and really, follow a process of spotting a phishing scam. And so with deliberate practice of getting that feedback on this first version of the quick reference guide, now it's all clear. Right. And so these are just small examples. I don't want to, take a lot of time here because I really want to get into how you guys build your portfolio and things like that. But I want to show you the power of deliberate practice and why getting feedback is going to be so important to you as you build out all the different assets for your portfolio and those job application assets. All right. The first step, for your online portfolio is to determine your goal. So if you've already done the homework from day one of this challenge, which is to determine your ideal idle role, that means you know what your goal is, right? That means you know who you're targeting, where you want to work, what you want to do, and what you want to emphasize. And so based on that goal, right, we've talked about it over and over again, it's working backwards. So we know, for instance, that the goal is to work for a for-profit company. Maybe it's Sephora. I guess you guys can tell I like makeup. All right. So it's for Sephora doing e-learning. So you'll know if that's the case, then maybe you create at least one e-learning course that is about something around skincare or makeup or whatever, so that you can apply to all those different companies like Sephora, and have a portfolio that is focused and tailored to that target hiring manager. So that's what I mean. Your first step is to determine your goal. Your next step is to get a website. There are so many different free website platforms out there that are WYSIWYGs. What you see is what you get. Just like for instance, in a Microsoft Word document, right? You know where to click file, insert things, drag and drop. Just like if you have to build anything online, most things are WYSIWYGs, right? Where it's pretty easy to use. You just drag files up there. You click on the buttons that say exactly what they do. And that's exactly how a lot of website builders are today. You don't need to know any code. It's free. Just need maybe a few little tutorials, but a lot of it, you can probably figure it out just by clicking around in there. And so some of the ones that you can check out and see if you want to start building your website there are Wix, Weebly, Google Sites. If you have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, you can get Adobe Portfolio included in that for free. Squarespace is not free, but it is really pretty. And so you can make a really nice looking website easily with something like Squarespace. And I think last I checked, it was at $18 a month. Google Sites is free, and Weebly and Wix both have free versions. And then of course there's the big Mac Daddy, and that is WordPress, wordpress.org to be specific. And that is not for the faint of heart, and it's not for somebody that is brand new to building websites, right? You're not trying to land a job building websites. You're trying to land a job as an instructional designer. And so you want to be able to build your website quickly and easily. And so while WordPress is on here as an option, if you are already familiar with that or familiar with building websites, that would be a great place to build it. But if you're not familiar, you've never built a website before, I'm going to recommend something like Google Sites. There are a bunch of other free builders out there like card.co and on and on. You can go do a search and find more, but this is just a small list to get you started. And don't think too much about it, right? You just need a place to hold your assets. You can always move it, refine it. It's never going to be perfect, right? Even after you land your job with your first portfolio, you're going to look back after a couple months or a year and you'll be like, I'm going to need to redo that whole thing, do it again, needs new, fresh style, whatever. And so, so don't fret too much about first draft version of your portfolio. Just pick a website builder and get started. The next thing, of course, that you want to do is brand your website, because your website is also a portfolio piece in itself, right? A website shows your ability to communicate information. It shows your visual design, your graphic design, your ability to handle online technologies. And so it is important to make your website look just as good and communicate just as well as your courses. And so you want to make sure to keep it consistent. Consistency is key, especially when we're talking about, your visual design. And so you want a maximum of 5 colors, a maximum of 3 fonts, right? A title font, a heading font, and a body font. Make sure that you stay away from scribbly handwriting things unless you use it very sparingly as an accent font, right? Because we're building professional portfolios. And while you are welcome to have personality in your portfolio, by all means, I mean, look at my website, right? While that is completely acceptable, you want to make sure that you don't have like little handwriting fonts that look like they're targeted towards little kids. You know what I mean? So it's got to be, you want to keep it at a professional level, but certainly add personality to it. You want to be consistent in the type of image container shapes that you have. So if you're going to put your images on your website, are they all going to be squares? Are they going to be circles? Are they going to be in blob shapes? You know what I mean? Or triangles? Just pick an image container shape and stick with that format and that style of images throughout. And the same thing with your icons. If you're going to, when you put icons on your website, make sure they all come from the same icon pack. And there's a bunch of different places that you can get icon packs from. I'm going to show you in just a moment. But what I really want to emphasize here is to be consistent and to think ahead of time about what is going to be your brand. And don't spend too much time. Remember, I want to encourage you to do it messy, to get a crappy first draft out there so that you can get your feedback. And then your goal, right? You want to target the ideal idle role, which I mentioned whenever we started this section of the presentation. And so just thinking again about making sure that all of your portfolio assets line up with the skills required for your ideal job. So that usually includes whatever so if you want to be more on the instructional design, just writing, storyboarding side of instructional design, and maybe you don't want to do the e-learning developer side, maybe you'll just have one e-learning course in your portfolio to show that you understand how it works and how development is, and you can do it. But then you really want to make sure to fill up the rest of your portfolio with storyboards, design documents, curriculum maps, and instructor-led training, and all those sorts of things, right? And so you really want to make sure to build your assets towards your ideal idle role, and that you've demonstrated all the skills that they're looking for in your ideal role, right? They're probably looking, if you're just going for the instructional design side, they're looking for your writing samples. They're looking to see that you can structure content. They're looking to see what your storyboards look like, your instructional design documents. If you're on the e-learning development side, they want to see all those tools that you can use. They want to see an example of beyond animation. They want to see an e-learning built in the tools that we use, like Articulate Storyline and Rise, right? They want to see your job aids. So just think about that as you are determining what kind of projects you're building, how you're going to demonstrate the skills. And then for every single piece that you put in your portfolio, that's, a bigger course, right? So for instance, you know how I talked about the course of 1,000 faces, right? Where you build the script for one full course, maybe build out that full course, but you take out pieces of it and put it in different sections in your portfolio to fill up your portfolio that you've gotten from one course. Well, you want to put the case study on the final build, right? So a final solution gets a case study. Why? Because they want to see your design thinking, right? So it's not just about can you make the things, but how do you think through what it is that you build and why. And so just simply the best way to write your case study is to write a challenge, right? What was the challenge? Why did you create this project? And of course you can say that it's for a fictional company, for my portfolio or whatever. That's totally fine. Just what would you imagine the challenge would be? Why is this type of course important? And then the solution, whatever that solution is, whether it's a course or maybe you build an app or whatever it is, a job aid, why did you create it? And then write your journey to that final solution. This is, of course, also why I've mentioned a couple of times along the way, keep track of your design decisions, right? Because you're going to need to write a case study. And then the last thing is your results. What did you learn? What are the results? Are there any metrics you can use to determine success? And even if it's not a real solution you rolled out to learners, what would you measure to measure success? What would you look at to see what the results are? And so that's what you want to include in your case study. And of course, you could also mention the client, the project, the tools you use, the time you used to build that project. Now, I would encourage you to build a work first portfolio. And this example actually comes from Amanda McCruskey. She's one of our IDLE mentors. And this is what hers looks like. And it's a great example of a work first portfolio. You see that she shows a little mock-up sample of each of the different things in the different categories that she has in her portfolio: design documents, e-learning, learning materials. And so it actually invites you to want to click more on each of these kinds of things, right? Oh, what does her e-learning look like? And she already gives you a sample of it so that you click through. All right, so the color palette. Remember I mentioned that I encourage you to get like no more than 5 colors. Well, there is a program called colormine.io/bootstrap/pound. And what's great about this is that you can put in your favorite color in the middle, lock it down. If you don't know what your hex codes are, you can go Google your favorite color and put in hex code. Like I would put jade green hex code, and that's how I'd get the hex code for the color that I like, right? You put that hex code in the middle, you lock it down, and then you press the generate button, and it'll generate an entire color palette for you and show you what it looks like applied to your website. So that's a great place to go do color palettes. There's a ton of other ways to do color palettes. I just always point to this one because it actually shows you where your different colors should go on your website so that you can keep it looking cohesive and fresh. The other thing that I want to point out to you is fontjoy.com. This will help you pick those 3 fonts that go together. So you can pick maybe your favorite font as one, lock it down, generate the other 2, and now you've got your fonts that you're going to work with for your website. And I've seen a lot of great portfolios where if they're building things just for samples for their portfolio, they do it in their own branding that they use for their portfolio, for their course assets. And so you can use your fonts in your own, not just your website itself, but in the branding for any kind of course materials you build that are sample projects. And then Icon Shock is a place to get free packs of matching icons. And so there's also a bunch of other places to get packs that all match and things like that. But this is one that you can go to and see if you like those today. Now, you may be wondering, how do I create an e-learning course, an articulate storyline, and then host it on my website? Well, you're going to need a cloud server. And so it's beyond the scope of this training to teach you exactly how to set up a cloud server and put your files up there and then load it to your website. But there are a lot of step-by-step instructions out there. And so you just want to Google how to use Google Cloud or Amazon S3 to host articulate storyline projects on your website. If you put that into Google, you'll find some step-by-step guides as far as how to do that, but you might not even be at that step yet. I just wanted to point it out for when you do get to that step, you are going to need a cloud server, and you can get one for free. All right, so let me pause just to see where we are on questions. Can we complete all work over the weekend and still get feedback? So yeah, you can still get feedback in the Become an Idol group from your peers. Absolutely. Okay, Jerry, the live events. Having a hard time finding this. Well, it seems like you're here, but they are all in idlecourses.com/login. If you registered for the challenge, then you have access to all the recordings there. And all the recordings are on the Idle Facebook page and in the Become an Idol group. So Alicia, so if you make almost 100K a year in California, I have actually seen this come through in the academy where people are teachers in California, but then they go on to instructional design and they either make about the same or they make more because they live in California. Oh, Jerry can see all my slides here, but can't get to the video. So Jerry, you can see me live on Facebook at Idle, or you can go to the Zoom link that's in the course. Alicia says, when building a portfolio, will potential employers think poorly of having a free site? Absolutely not, right? It is all about the showing your skills. It has nothing to do with whether you use free tools or anything like that. Now, if you want to be a freelancer, then maybe you'll take your website up another notch. But really, even as a freelancer, the only thing you want to be careful of is not having samples in your portfolio that have watermarks. That's really kind of, the difference as far as like, can you use free tools to build a portfolio to land a job? Yes, absolutely. If you're a freelancer, then your clients want to know you already own those tools. And so you'll want to upload assets to your portfolio as a freelancer that don't include watermarks. And that's just kind of like the simple short answer to that. Okay, let's get into resumes and LinkedIn. I'll answer the rest of those questions at the end. So your resume is your marketing vehicle. And so you really want to, if you're going to include any kind of summary, you want to frame your experience and your transferable skills from whatever your background is right there at the top for your reader's benefit, right? So you want to catch their attention and tell them what it is that makes you somebody that they'd want to hire today and what it is that you do so well. So that's what we mean by framing it for the reader's benefit. How do you solve problems? How are you going to solve their problems? That kind of thing. And then tasks and responsibilities on your resume are boring. Nobody cares about those. And also because many of you are transitioning from one career to another, you want to frame your descriptions as things that are transferable skills. So instead of, and I think I have it on the next slide. So instead of, let's like for teachers, right? So you want to remove the list of courses taught and list course assets that you've built, right? So if you're a teacher, you would, instead of just writing something like students, you would change that to learners. You would talk about, if you did any kind of professional development for other teachers, you want to talk about the professional instructor-led training that you developed for adult learners and those kinds of things. And then a school is an organization in your resume from here on out. A student is a learner, and I think we talked about that in day 2. A parent is a stakeholder, and a principal is a manager, right? So you have a lot of experience as a teacher working and doing things that like we do as an instructional designer. You just have to translate even the words that you use and your actual skills to how that translates on the job, right? It's about performance and writing those objectives and writing assessments, right? Analyzing data, managing a project, learning management system administration, all those kinds of things. You want to think about quantifiable data in your resume and on your LinkedIn, right? So how many learners did you serve? How many courses did you build? What were the results of any of the programs that you designed? Those kinds of things. That's what you want to get in your resume. Now I went ahead and made this a little bit small, and I know maybe you can't see all these keywords here, but I also have a link up here, and it's idlecourses.com/resume keywords, and you can get a whole list of keywords for free to fill up your LinkedIn profile and your resume. You really want to match your resume to the keywords that are used in the job description that you are applying for. So yes, humans look at your resume, but also you'll upload your resume to an applicant tracking system. And that applicant tracking system can sort and filter, and it can discard resumes that don't meet a certain number of keywords. And it can also rank resumes in that database based on keywords matched to the job description, right? And so for you, when you are applying to a new role, you want to make sure that the keywords that are in the job description are also in your resume. So you'll want to create your boilerplate template resume, right? That includes these keywords and translates your experience and, and rewrites the words from like student to learner, etc. And then you also want to update and tailor every resume for jobs that you apply for to match those keywords in the job description. Now, mentors really are the part of the importance of deliberate practice. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something formal. It can be informal. You just have to have someone who is more experienced than you in what it is that you want to improve in that can give you feedback, actionable feedback on your assets so that you can implement it and improve. So there are several different ways to find a mentor. You could intern or volunteer. There's like places like, so for instance, if you want to intern or volunteer for a freelance instructional designer, sometimes there are companies that'll take interns that are instructional designers. They get a little hard to find, but they are out there. And so that might be one way to find a mentor, right? Is if you are volunteering, like Design by Humanity, which is one of my favorite organizations. They actually have this as part of their volunteer organization, is that you design diversity and inclusive courses for nonprofits, and they connect you with a mentor in that program to help you along the way as you build things. Now, the thing about Design by Humanity is that they only open for cohorts of new volunteers every once in a while, but you can go and check them out just by Googling Design by Humanity, and you can find their website and apply there. But that's just one. I'm sure that there are several other ones. LinkedIn, you can find a mentor on there. For instance, you could find an experienced instructional designer that'll let you ask a few questions, maybe give some feedback on your assets. It becomes a little tricky finding someone on LinkedIn to give you feedback on all your assets, because you're really asking for somebody to give you a lot of time and attention. And so if there's no kind of reciprocity, right, then it's hard to keep that going, right? Who are you going to find that'll be your mentor that will just devote their time and their energy to helping you grow without any kind of reciprocity? And so that's why, you might have a better chance finding some, volunteering for someone, like actually exchanging work, right? I will do X for you if you will give me feedback and help me grow. Networking events, you can find some mentors there. Like you can go to local organizations like ATD chapters. If you're in the US, you can participate in those. You could probably find an instructional design mentor there. Or if you already work in a corporate space, there's usually a learning and development department in that company. And maybe you could go find friends there and see if you can start helping them on their current projects that they're working on, and see if they'll start giving you a little feedback. But really, what usually happens is, unless you find someone almost, organically by volunteering or networking or something like that, And then, like I said, you've got to have some kind of reciprocity. And so a lot of the instructional design mentors and coaches at this point, in order to devote the amount of time and energy they need to coach somebody through deliberate practice, they do charge. And that way there is some kind of reciprocity there. Now, this is the real paradigm, right? Like, how do you get experience in instructional design when you have zero, right? Because they're like entry level, 2 years of experience, 1 year of experience required. And if you have zero, then how do you get some if the barrier to entrance is that you have to have experience? And so again, my recommendations to you are to intern or volunteer. You can reach out to local nonprofits, a friend that has a business, and volunteer to build courses for them. The internship route, right? Like Rumi is one of them, RUMIE. Volunteer Match is another place that you can do it. And I'm sure that you can find more by Googling, in that way that you can get experience working from the beginning to the end of a project, so that you can also not only get experience, but also be able to talk about that experience in your interviews and talk through examples when they ask you, tell me about a time when you worked with a subject matter expert. You're going to need to be able to answer that and have some experience. And so you might just have to volunteer to build something for somebody. Your mentor's assistant, right? If you can find somebody that is willing to mentor you in exchange, maybe for you helping them on projects or organizing things or whatever that is. Freelance instructional designers, another place to offer your services, whatever it is that you're good at the time, and see if they can start giving you more projects. Well, now, while that does happen sometimes, again, this is something that might be a little difficult for you to find, a freelance instructional designer that's willing to take on somebody that knows nothing, because freelance instructional designers, how are they making their money? Well, by serving clients and getting things done quickly and well and under their name. And so it takes a lot of time away from what they're focusing on to help a new instructional designer. So you really got to think about what it is, how you're going to add value to that mentor and to get experience, or that freelance instructional designer. And then your current employer, right? So remember, walking over to the L&D department or calling them up or whatever that looks like for you would be a great way to get experience. If you say, oh, can I help you on any of these projects? Can you show me what you do, how you do it? Is there anything that I could take that's small? That's another way that you could get experience as an instructional designer. And so now I've come to the place where I really just want to know if you would like us to teach you how to create your online portfolio, mentor you through deliberate idle practice, and give you experience opportunities to apply for. So obviously all of you are busy, you're time challenged, you're juggling priorities, but I just want to remember why you showed up today. Maybe you feel uncertain, you want to make a bold career move, but you're not sure exactly what to focus on right this moment. Maybe you feel stuck. You're trying to do all the things to apply for instructional design jobs, but you're not getting interviews. You're not sure of your next best move. Maybe it's just a lack of confidence, right? You've read all the articles and posts on instructional design, and you've seen what your ideal idle role is, and you just know that your skills and knowledge aren't measuring up. And so at this point, you have two options to consider. You don't make a plan to create your online portfolio or get the mentorship and the experience that you need, and you're in the same place that you are right now next year, or you 100% commit to creating your portfolio and doing the work to land your corporate idle job this year using a proven roadmap and accountability program. And so it's at this time that I like to invite you to the Idle Courses Academy. Idle Courses Academy is the only implementation program of its kind that not only shows you exactly how to create your job application assets and build a portfolio from scratch, but also includes mentorship, 4 levels of credentials, actually 5 if you count the storyline one, and paid experience opportunities in instructional design and online learning. We are the trade school for instructional design and online learning. There really is no other program like this. So our program will show you how to structure your online portfolio, create high quality content for your portfolio, brand yourself, your resume, LinkedIn, and your portfolio, craft a resume that gets you interviews, use all the in-demand tech in the idle industry like Storyline, Beyond, video editing, image editing, and design software like Canva. Pass interview assessments. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you will have to usually take a test as part of the instructional design interview process to demonstrate your skills even further. I know many say that your portfolio should be enough, and sometimes it is, but many times they want to see you actually do the work that they want you to do, and they will give you a test. And then we also show you how to design hybrid, instructor-led, and e-learning courses, and of course, networking in the idle industry. By the end of this program, you will have a cover letter and resume that is optimized for both humans and the applicant tracking system, a winning portfolio that gets you clients or interviews, a LinkedIn profile that drives recruiters to your in-mail. No joke. I tell our members not to do the LinkedIn profile update until they are ready to talk to recruiters and start their interview process. Confidence in your idle skills. We are also a pre-approved provider for the Association of Talent Development for recertification in the CPTD and the APTD. You'll have a close network of idle peers and mentors. I've seen people in the academy say, oh, I'm applying for a job at Southwest. And then somebody else says, oh yeah, I already have a job at Southwest. Who are you? Who's your hiring manager? Oh, I'll go walk over there and recommend you. I've seen one person land a job at Google in the academy, and then they say, oh my gosh, you are the best instructional designer we've ever had. And so do you know any other Idle Courses Academy members that we can hire? And now there are 4 idols at Google. This thing happens all the time. And that really is the power of a network and a network of people that are on your same path and on your same journey. Lifetime access to our ever-growing library of training, resources, tools, and I'm even actually working on adding a book. So I'll talk more about that whenever it happens. 4 levels of digital credentials in the academy, plus there's a credential for Storyline for Idols, and then paid experience opportunities for working for both Idle Courses and Idle Talent. Now, Idle Talent, just so you know, is for Academy alumni only, and it is our exclusive staffing branch of the Idle Courses Academy, where after you become an Academy alumni, right, and you have a portfolio plus at least 1 badge, or you've already, landed a job, right, as an instructional designer, like you've gotten paid to be an instructional designer for, then you can apply for any of our contracts, and most of them start at $50 an hour. And so and they're only exclusive to Idle Courses Academy members that meet that criteria. And so there's not even a lot of competition as far as getting roles like that. So we really will not only train you, we can literally, if you are, authorized to work in the US, we can literally place you on contract roles. So what do we cover? We cover the gamut. It's goal setting and mindset, portfolio, e-learning development. I mean, everything from process design, development, the tools, instructional design, everything from the major theories, the models, and how to create instructional design documents, needs analysis, instructor-led training, resumes and LinkedIn, interviewing. And so here we go. The complete training program is valued about $5,000. It includes the self-paced training, live group coaching, live workshops, idle mentor hours, unlimited coaching and feedback from our academy coaches. Plus, I have an early bird bonus, which is the Idle Business Box. Now, the Idle Business Box is one of my favorite little things that I've built, and that it includes all the templates and contracts, etc., that you would need to be able to run your freelance business as an instructional designer, whether it's doing freelancing on the side of your full-time job or full-time. It's a whole box of goodies for whenever you want to go out and get clients. And so our program is actually built by idols for idols. I know, obviously, I'm the one who's been here teaching you this whole time for the challenge, but this program is built on those 3 principles of deliberate practice, learner experience design, and social learning. And so from the very beginning, I've actually had people who came up through the academy help me improve the academy all along the way. And so I've paid academy members to help me build new lessons, host workshops, mentor academy coaches, improve our processes, improve what we do, add things, get new tools. And so really, it really is a collaborative trade school that was built by people just like you who have been where you are, who know what it is that you need to accelerate your success. And so when you join Idle Courses Academy, you become a part of that. And if you want to, you can help us continue to improve and build and do better. So the second bonus, of course, is if you enroll in the Idle Courses Academy, you will get to become an Idle Challenge. You'll just stay forever. It won't disappear for you. And we also include Storyline for Idols, which is a project-based training on how to get started and use Articulate Storyline. You go step by step in a project file in Articulate Storyline to learn all the features and how to use them and what are the best case scenarios to use each feature and when. And then we also give you a full e-learning course built in Articulate Storyline so that you can see a full exemplar of what a course looks like in Articulate Storyline after you've finished going through all those practice exercises. Oh yeah, and it includes the credential. There is a 7-day refund policy for those that complete the work and still think this is not the right program for you. Totally fine. So we do want to make sure that everyone that enrolls is happy and is ready to commit and can do the work and see like, okay, yeah, this is for me. But if it's not, we'll give you your money back. No problem. Just show us you've done the work. And then the other thing that we actually include in the Idle Courses Academy, besides all of those things that I mentioned, is you get access to Beyond Enterprise. And so what that means is you actually just submit your script or your Beyond storyboard to our Academy coaches, ask for time in Beyond, and they will give you some feedback on your script or your storyboard, and they will give you the link to go and get time in 3-hour blocks. You can have as many 3-hour blocks as you want for Beyond, and that way you can use all the tools, all the features of Beyond, and download videos without any watermarks for your courses and your portfolio, and that lasts forever. So that never goes away. And so you may think like, what does it cost? It is $14.97 to enroll in the Idle Courses Academy and includes all these things, including the business box and Beyond and Storyline for Idols and lifetime membership, and of course, access to our Idle talent pool. So there are actually several options, but mostly it's like, if you want a payment plan, there's 6 payments of $297, but we also have a payment plan through Climb Credit, where if you need something that's broken down into smaller payments, maybe over a longer period of time so that it can be more affordable for you and where you are right now, just go to idlecourses.com/enroll and you'll see all the different enrollment options there, or just pay in full $14.97. And so next steps, you'll just go to the enrollment page, idlecourses.com/academy. You'll select the payment option that's best for you. You will fill in some quick details. You'll see this confirmation page. You will get an email. You'll get an invite to our Idle community from Mighty Networks, and you will get emails from Idle Courses about details before class starts on the 27th of September. And then you'll be able to log in and access your course and bonus resources. Everything goes live in your course library on the 26th. And this is what your member area looks like. And then class starts on the 27th. I should have updated that slide. So a lot of the questions I usually see is, how long does this program take me? And unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to answer that question for you, because our program is based on the principles of deliberate practice, which means it is a quiz-free zone, right? We're not quizzing you. We want to see your performance. And what does your performance include? It includes building your portfolio assets, right? You want whatever those assets are that are lead you towards your ideal idle role, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and of course your website, right? And so that's your first round of goals if you have never been an instructional designer before, right? In the Idle Courses Academy. How long does that take you? I'm not sure. How much time can you devote to doing the work in the Idle Courses Academy? If you can devote more time, you will see your results faster. We've seen people land jobs in 3 weeks, and we've seen people take about 3 months on average. And of course, I've also seen some people have a baby, move, get a divorce, whatever it is, and it takes them a year, right? Because life got in the way. But our program is lifetime. And so even if you enroll in this cohort and something comes up, you're not able to get it done or whatever, the program's always there for you. And if you want to join back in with any new cohorts, you are more than welcome to, right? So all the benefits that you get of enrolling in this cohort stick with you forever, for as long as this program is around, which is not going anywhere. I just kind of have to say that for legal reasons. And so these are some of our recent success stories. This is Tammy Kennedy, and she says, this is a true community of practice. It seamlessly combines theory with hands-on experience, encourages learners to start creating, and provides a great mechanism for asset sharing and peer and coach feedback. Grow your skills, earn badges along the way, and each day increase your confidence that you are in the right place. I landed my first instructional design position in less than 3 months of joining. And you can see all our stories on idlecourses.com/success. These are just a few I wanted to pull out. Janice Bassey says, I didn't really know what instructional design was before I found Idle, but when I found out, I was intrigued. I joined the January 2021 cohort, landed my very first ID interview 2 weeks after finishing the Do It Messy Jumpstart. Life got in the way, right? As I finished the academic year, she was a teacher, but I started taking Idle seriously again over the summer. And within a couple of weeks, I had interviews lined up every single day and landed my first full-time instructional design position in under a month. I couldn't have done it without the structure, guidance, and support of Idle. And then Carrie, she just got her job recently as well. As a matter of fact, I just saw her Idle Mug Club photo come up yesterday. And so she said that it transformed her life and her career. She sent out over 30 applications with not a single interview request. And she knew she needed to learn more in order to actually land an interview and a job. And she said, Idle Academy was a perfect program for me to do just that. A couple of months after joining Idle Academy, I was being contacted by recruiters on a weekly basis. I learned the skills necessary to be hireable, creating a portfolio, learning the e-learning authoring tools, learning the adult learning theories, revamping my resume and LinkedIn profile made me more marketable in this industry. Not only did I land a job, I had 3 other offers as well. I owe it to the wonderful mentorship provided in the Idle Academy. Thank you, Idle. So, I mean, I could say everything, but it means more, right, from our actual success stories. And so Cynthia Berry, she's actually one of the examples of the power of our network. Not only did Cynthia Berry land a job, but 2 other Academy members from her same cohort landed the same job with her. Why? Because they said, we love you. Who else do you have that can do this work? I have other Academy members who've been putting in the effort as well. And they hired 2 more. So there's 3 people working at Mizzou, just like Cynthia Berry as an instructional designer. And so the same thing, confidence is key. I would recommend this program to anyone with high regard. 10 weeks, she landed her job in 10 weeks. And then Catherine Bell. So she said her Idle mentor has encouraged her every step of the way to put herself out there. The coaches helped her build a strong portfolio of assets and craft an eye-catching resume. She began applying for jobs on August 1st of this year and had 15 interviews between August 5th and 20th. This would not have happened without the community of support, and she found Idle. And of course, all these success stories are people who have actually landed jobs, either full-time or as contractors or as full-time freelancers. And just the last one I want to throw in here is Jonathan Aker, and he actually landed a job at an ed tech company, which is another place that you can be an instructional designer where you are creating curriculum for K through 12, or maybe for the end customer for that ed tech program. And so he was a part of cohort 6, which was our January cohort, and he has landed his job, and thanks to Idle. All right, so all the stories are in here. You can see them. I want to make sure to get to your questions. And so here we go. Where do you recommend to create mockups for the mobile and computer? I actually have templates for that in the Idle Courses Academy, Jacqueline, but you could probably find some other ones in Canva. Yes. So Jennifer says, if you have several assets for your goal, can your portfolio showcase that diversity without penalty? Yes, absolutely. If you don't know exactly where you want to be, maybe you want to be kind of like the Swiss Army knife of instructional design, totally fine. So I would recommend 2 e-learning courses, 1 instructor-led training that includes a presentation deck, a facilitator's guide, and a participant guide, a job aid, and 1 instructional design document. That is like a good generic portfolio type of assets to have. So absolutely. Am I not? Oh, that was 29 minutes ago. Am I not streaming on Facebook right now? Is that what's going on? Let's see. Am I not live? That's so crazy. I thought I was. Okay. Okay. Will there be live Zoom sessions here? How, if so, how often and what time? So the live Zoom sessions are not things that you are required to go to, except for the Idle mentors. And right now, I think we have 10 Idle mentors. They all have different days and different times that they host their Idle mentor sessions. And so you can pick the mentor that has the day and the time that works for you, and that stays consistent throughout the 8 weeks. And so you can just pick a day and a time that works for you. We also have a workshop from an outside guest expert every single week. Those are at different times. And they're all recorded. The only thing that's not recorded is the mentor sessions. I do a group coaching once a week on Mondays from 4 to 5. And that is a live, it's Eastern Standard Time, and that is live, but it's also recorded and put in the resources section of the Idle Courses Academy. And that's it as far as Zoom, but everything else is self-paced. I'll show you guys around in the Academy. You can't find the Idle Courses Facebook page. Is it separate from the Become an Idle Facebook group? Yes. And so did I not go live on Facebook again today? I thought I did. Oh, well. Let's see. Am I on? Can you guys see me on Facebook? Oh, bummer. It happened again. Okay, you need to, yes, so it's all in, Kimberly, it's all it's all being recorded. Yes, you can ask any questions you want. Just send info@idlecourses. You can send your questions. There's also a chat bot on idlecourses.com/academy. You'll see a little chat bot in the bottom. You can ask your questions there as well. You can also give us a call. Our phone number is on the top of our website. If you just want to call and ask a question, you are more than welcome to. Is it easy to embed or link storyline files and other samples on Google Sites? Yes, for other samples, storyline files, like I said, you've got to have a cloud server. Once you've got your cloud server set up and you know how to use it, it's easy after that part. Okay, so I have a question about non-US. Do you have practical tips to build your LinkedIn resume with 2 different languages? Yeah, I think that if you are applying for roles that are, their main language is going to be a different language, then by all means, I would say write it, in your primary language first, where you're applying for jobs, and then just translate that for the second version, right? Because you can have 2 different LinkedIn profiles, like one in English, one in Spanish or whatever. Same thing for your resume. And so good question. That's a good idea. Yes, that is Rumi Ahmed. Good job. Doo-doo. And let's see. Is it important to cite sources in the e-learning course and job aids? Is it necessary to do so on every slide or just the job aid? Okay, so if you're going to cite sources, usually what we do is we just make it a menu item or one slide that just says resources that people can go and optionally click on to find out more information. No, please do not cite all your sources on every slide. And for your job aid, you could even just like put a hyperlink on your job aid, because most job aids are PDFs. That says like resources and can take them to a Google Doc with resources or something like that. You don't want to take up valuable real estate space on your slides and in your job aids with citations. Jerry says, I read you have job opportunities. What are they like? They're usually part-time to full-time contract roles, working for major companies on their projects building. Some of them are building curriculum for giant software companies. Some of them are building programs for other companies. And it's all corporate instructional design roles. Does that answer your question? How important is certification? How does it benefit you? And so, it just shows that you've invested in yourself as far as certifications go, right? And that you have invested in your skills and doing the work. How important is like having a piece of paper in this field? Not that important. What's more important? Demonstrating your skills. Now, I will say though, that the credentials are actually getting to be more and more valuable in this field, because more recruiters are starting to link their applicant tracking systems with the digital badging credential sites like Credly and Badger and whatever, because they actually link to skills that those recruiters are looking for and they've been verified. And so in that sense, the digital badges that you see, those things are valuable in that way. But really it's about being able to demonstrate the skills. Okay, so I'll show you how that works. Does the program prepare you for corporate? Heck yeah, it does, as well as guidance for freelance opportunities. Yes. And so we have several freelancers in the Idle Courses Academy. We even have some mentors that became freelancers out the gate. And so you can go to that specific mentor if you'd like to focus more on that path. And we even have a lot of freelancers in the Idle Courses Academy who will also hire people in the academy to help them on projects. So yeah, it's definitely both. We answer questions for both freelance and corporate. If you select additional Idle courses, are those courses for lifetime? Yes, except for Idle Loves Canva is a 1-year subscription. That's the only exception. Lisa says, oh, let me answer Jennifer's. Can you explain the mentor office hours and what to expect for that? And so usually what the mentor office hours, they have a structure, right? So they usually focus on the same topic, like all the different mentors, right? They focus on the same topic at the beginning. They answer questions. They will pull up assets from different members that want to share. They will give feedback on those assets, and they will guide you through any kind of struggles or questions that you have. And this way, you can get unstuck quickly from a live person that can answer your questions. And also I do group coaching every week, and I will I come in and I teach kind of similar to this, but then I also answer any questions that you have as far as whatever it is that you're working on. I'm thinking about branding as a teacher. I've always been Miss Pink Pineapple. Is this something you'd suggest I continued with, or is this something you'd suggest I continue with, or use my legal name? So I definitely would put your name on your portfolio, but I think a pink pineapple branding, if done well, could be pretty cute. And it would show your personality and you have a little story behind it. And so I think that Miss Pink Pineapple can be what the branding looks like, but I think you should certainly use your name. But if misspinkpineapple.com is available, you should definitely take that address because it's easy to remember. It's easy to type, like misspinkpineapple.com. That would work. Okay. Can you explain weekly coaching sessions a little more? I know you have a lot of questions, but I'm getting ready to investigate. So weekly coaching sessions. So this round, this cohort, I'm actually going to be walking the new cohort members step by step through the process of instructional design and working with you to create your portfolio assets. And so every week we're going to focus on one thing at a time in my group coaching. But of course, like I mentioned earlier, I'm there to make sure that I answer any questions you have about the topic that we cover. And I'm there to answer any questions that you have that came up as you're trying to build whatever asset that you were working on. Are there peak hiring periods for instructional designers? I was thinking about how average finishing time is around 3 months, wondering if December would be a good time. Actually, December is a good time, but it's more like being ready in December because they get a new budget. Most companies get a new budget for January. So what they usually start doing is they'll kind of start some introductory or maybe first round interviews in December. And then they will either complete those interviews in December and then give you an actual offer letter in January, or they'll finish up the interviews and do the offer letter in January because they have a new budget, which means they can, have a new fresh rollout of money that they can spend on new hires. So good question, Jasmine. Okay, will members have help with figuring out how to best navigate courses in IDLE Academy with mentor, depending on their needs? So we have 10 mentors. They all introduce themselves on video, so you can find out more about who they are and what their style is like. And you can go to as many mentor sessions as you want. You can go to all of them. I don't care. The only thing that we encourage you to do is find at least one of those mentors that you go to and go to them regularly, right? So that you can build up a network of peers, right? And that go to your same mentor group. And so that you can get familiarity and rapport with your mentor so that they can know you, see your work. And then if it comes time, maybe even be a reference for you for your job applications. And so that's why we encourage you to go to the same mentor consistently, but you can go to any and all of them. How frequent? So every mentor, like I said, we've got 10 of them, Monday through Sunday, like I'm hosting their sessions. And so it's frequent. So there's 10 sessions a week and you can go to any and all of them. You are not assigned one, you get to pick your mentor and that also probably has to do with which time and day of the week that works best for you and your schedule. The deadline to sign up is on the 24th of September. You're in a master's program for ed tech, and one of my professors who is an ID actually did recommend that I learn to build websites from scratch. Well, that might have been useful, Brenda, back in the day. It's no longer useful. Instead, it's more useful for you to be able to use WYSIWYG editors because all of our tools are WYSIWYG editors, websites, e-learning authoring tools, video tools. They're all WYSIWYGs. None of them require coding. The only time where HTML might be useful for you is just to be able to read some HTML for if you are, let's see, let me think of an example of where I've actually used it. Like to be able to like copy some code for an iframe for storyline, but even that you're not writing the code. So it's helpful to kind of understand how computers work, right? But it is not necessary whatsoever to know how to code in HTML. And I actually do know how to code in HTML. I took a course too back in 2011 when I was trying to make my transition. And the thing that I value from it the most is just kind of understanding how it works. I don't write code ever. Nobody does, unless you are using XAPI, and even that's not HTML, that's JavaScript. Are the additional courses updated regularly? Yes, actually. Idle Movie Magic is being updated right now, and it was just built for the first time last year, so that's pretty fast because Beyond has added new features to their tool, and so we have updated Idle Movie Magic. I'm really interested in ed tech. My daughter completed high school virtually, and I've been academic admin in that field for many years. Is that comparable to a corporate salary? Yeah, because usually ed tech is a company, and so you'll be in that same market, right? The market rate is still the same as any other corporation. Good questions. Okay. All right, so now I just wanted to show you real quick what it looks like. This is what the community looks like. We have different groups. This is where the new Academy Active cohort will hang out. And what you'll see in here, we have different topics in here so that you can post and get feedback and also see other people's assets. And so whenever you post in here, oops, I always do that. I don't know why I do that. So whenever you post in here, you go post, quick post, and then you can add your topic so that people can see what it is that you're sharing and what you want feedback on. We also host accountability groups in here. And so you can go back to our network, you can go to groups. And if you ever want to create an accountability group, we have them with our mentors. You can do it that way. I've set up some for some of our members, like Sue's accountability group, and so on and so forth. We have volunteer projects that you can work on, and so on and so forth. And so this is what it looks like inside here, inside the Idle Courses Academy. You can see inside of here, these are all the different categories of all the things that are included. And just so that you guys want, if you want to know how much is what looks like inside our, self-paced training, this is all of the self-paced training that's included in the Idle Courses Academy. That's why I said it's about doing the practice and then using everything else to help you get there. We've got 4 layers of support. We've got all the training. We've got resources. So if I go back to my dashboard, you can see the resources that are included in the Idle Courses Academy. Here's where the group coaching calls live. We've got tech talk sessions every week. We have member perks and discounts, full software tutorials in here besides whatever we have in the Academy. We have actual templates for everything. And so Trello board templates, we've got several different ones of those. Templates for your job application assets, facilitator guide templates, case study templates, e-learning style guides, storyboard templates, storyline players, instructional designer document templates. We also have templates for other things like graphic design. So you can get workbook and worksheet templates. Those are in here. There's a ton of them. We have, like I said, I even give you your own portfolio and mock-up templates that you can use for your portfolio. More templates for you to use. And what else we got in resources? Oh, we also have assets for you. So for instance, if you need graphics, you can get access to anything you want from Envato Elements. So there are 56 million creative assets that you can get for free to build out your website, to get icon packs, stock images, stock videos, 3D models, web templates, anything that's in Envato Elements. All you have to do is send a link to blaine@idlecourses.com. And if you're an Idle Courses Academy member, he will send it to you for free. And you can get 5 of those a week. All right. So I think I've answered all the questions. It tells me that I'm on Facebook. So hopefully this is on Facebook this whole time. And let's see if I missed out anything else. Alicia says, are the things covered in this challenge broken down and covered in more detail? Oh, heck yes. Like this is the challenge is just kind of like as much as I can give you an overview in 5 days to get you started. That's what the challenge's purpose is all about. But the Academy absolutely covers that and so much more. What are the pros and cons of freelance instructional design versus full-time? Well, let's just think about it. I mean, the pros for being a freelancer is you're your own boss, make your own rules, you pick the projects that you work on, you set your rates. Those are the pros for freelance. Cons is that you're your own boss, that you have to go and get your clients, you got to run a business, and you've got to pay for your own tools, and you got to pay for your own taxes. Now, for full-time with the company, well, that's all taken care of for you. They pay for your tools and resources. They pay your benefits. You have a little bit of security in knowing that, I mean, a little bit. You could actually argue that you have more security as a freelancer, right? Because you're in charge of your own success. But you know that it's going to be consistent, direct deposit. You don't have to deal with the same things that kind of are what you deal with as a freelancer. As a freelancer, your invoices and your payments go like a roller coaster. You could be on a net 30 waiting for income to come in and so on and so forth. And so it really is kind of how much risk tolerance do you have? And I would actually encourage a lot of people to go full-time in a company before you become a freelancer. I've seen a lot of people have success the other way around, of course, but it just makes sense to me to go and actually work as an instructional designer in a full-time company role so that you can understand how business works, how the business process works, the real specific types of problems that you solve as an instructional designer, and how to talk to people in business before you go out and try to land clients. You want to know what it is that they're talking about. You want to be familiar with the kind of problems that they have and show up with confidence that you can solve those problems because you've already done it for another company. Okay, so I hope that this has helped you. Of course, I'd love to have you in the Idle Courses Academy, but if you take everything that you've learned in this challenge and apply it to building your portfolio, getting experience, and getting feedback along the way, you really can become an idle. I didn't hold anything back. And so thank you again for joining me on the Become an Idle Challenge. It really has been such a great experience being here with you. And so thank you. Thank you. I wish you all success. No matter what, I just want to see you guys all thrive as future colleagues. Bye for now. You're very, very welcome. You're very welcome. I look forward to seeing all of you that join the Academy. And like I said, you guys are welcome to ask any follow-up questions that you have. Take care.